All right, let's talk about what might be one of the messiest Disney flops in recent memory, the Snow White remake starring Rachel Ziegler. Before the movie even hit theaters, the internet had already turned on it. From awkward interviews to viral backlash, this film became a case study in how public perception can tank a project before audiences even give it a shot. Let's break down what went wrong and why people are still talking about it. Disney reportedly dropped $270 million on this movie. That's more than what it cost to make Avengers Endgame. That's crazy. But it only made about $70 million in the US and $146 million worldwide, which is disastrous for a company used to billion-dollar wins. Some analysts even say that Snow White could lose over $100 million, a number that puts it in the legendary flop category. And it wasn't just the numbers. TikTok was full of people posting videos of completely empty theaters. It became kind of a meme. Who's actually watching this movie? Now, things started going sideways before the film even released. During the press tour, Rachel called the original 1937 Snow White weird and outdated.
But there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
She said the story needed fixing and that her version would focus on female leadership, not love or fairy tales. Now, updating a classic, it isn't a bad thing, but the way she said it came off as dismissive to fans who grew up loving the original. And let's be real, people get defensive when childhood nostalgia is messed with. Don't believe me? Try going to a group of anime fans and telling them that Dragon Ball Z and Naruto just straight trash. This is Disney princess territory. It's sacred to a lot of people. And then came the quote that sealed the deal. I don't need your business.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with the sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
It wasn't just a clapback. It felt like a full-on rejection of the audience. Even people who were neutral started raising eyebrows. Imagine trying to promote a film while telling people not to see it.
Weird.
That's not gonna go over well. And TikTok stitched that clip into oblivion. It became the moment that changed the public tone. And for me, personally, I felt like it was out of touch. Of course, you may feel like you don't need their business, but this film isn't about you. It's a billion-dollar corporation making a film that put it on the map back in 1937. Other individuals may need the business who are a part of the film, may not have a name as big as Rachel Ziegler, but to say that you don't need the business, you're costing other people money. Think about that. Now, at this point, even Disney had to step in. Reports say that they assigned someone to help manage Rachel's social media, basically putting her on PR watch. Time to go to timeout, Rachel. And one of the film's producers allegedly had a private one-on-one with her to talk about the damage being done. When a studio that size has to micromanage an actor's Instagram, you know it's bad. They were trying to stop a flood with duct tape. But by that time, it was already too late. And now, behind closed doors, some Disney insiders are allegedly blaming Rachel for the flop. Not saying she's the only reason, but let's be honest, she became the face of the controversy. This wasn't just bad press, it was a viral backlash. And once the public decided this movie was doomed, it was like the whole thing collapsed in real time. Now let's be honest, a lot of people hated this movie before they ever saw it. And that's where groupthink comes in. Once TikTok, Reddit, and X turned against the film, it became cool to trash it. People were reposting the same takes, often without even watching the trailer. It stopped being about the movie and started being about the moment, about being on the right side of the internet's collective mood. At that point, there was no saving it. Oh, and don't get me started on the reviews. By the time the reviews dropped, it was a wrap. IMDb scores plummeted. People called the movie lifeless, preachy, and flat. And because of everything leading up to the release, most people weren't even willing to give it a fair shot. It's like the movie was carrying all the internet's baggage in the theaters. Rachel tried to lean into the meme by posting a TikTok of herself watching the movie alone in a theater. It felt like an attempt to show that she was in on the joke, but it didn't land. Instead, it just made the silence louder. In doing all this commentary and going through my script, I asked myself, do I want to be one of those people who are a part of the groupthink, who have an opinion that isn't even his own? No. So you know what I did? I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to see the movie. Reluctantly, she said yes. Babe, I have an idea.
Nope.
And I admit I was also a bit reluctant, but I went and got those tickets and we went to go see the movie. So Saturday came around and got myself dressed, drove to the theater. The whole time I have a bit of fear or trepidation because I don't know what to expect. But I told myself I want to go into it with an open mind. So I get there and start watching the film, and I'm thinking to myself, where's all this negativity coming from? I'm not a movie critic in any right, but even in looking for things wrong with the film, I couldn't find much. Now, I'm not saying this movie is a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, even a 7 out of 10. I'd at least give it a 6. I don't know about IMDb giving it a 1.6, but of course, I'm not IMDb. But I actually enjoyed it. We had a good time, and some parts of the movie were actually emotional. I think Rachel Ziegler did a pretty good job. I liked her acting, and her voice is dynamite in my opinion. My only gripe was honestly Gal Gadot. She was supposed to be an evil witch, obviously, but I feel like she wasn't crazy enough for me. You know, you're an evil queen that's supposed to have this kingdom begging and starving. You're basically supposed to be saying, let them eat cake. But she did all right. Other than that, I loved everyone else. The dwarves, Jonathan. It was pretty entertaining. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell everyone that this movie is underrated and you all should go see it. But you honestly should. Go see it for yourself and see how you may like it. And all that considering I'm not the target audience at all, right? In the end, this was supposed to be Disney's next big princess reboot. And instead, it became a digital disaster. Maybe the timing was off. Maybe the messaging flopped. Maybe the internet just decided it was time to cancel this one. But whatever the reason, this version of Snow White won't be remembered for its story. It'll be remembered for what not to do when you're launching a $270 million movie in the age of TikTok. Once again, this has been a video by your boy Supreme Kai. If you liked any part of it, gained any information, or if it was entertaining for you, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe and share with your inner circle. Peace.